Hello, this is Mr. Smee once again. This is part 2 of the elementary programming assignment tutorial. We're just going to pick up where we left off. So I'm just going to go ahead and exit out of this. This is a console, that's what that's called. So basically it allows you to test your program. So we're going to go ahead and exit out of the console. So now just to go back over what we've done, we imported the scanner. We have made a new scanner. We're asking how much the bill was, have it stored in a variable named subtotal. Then we're asking how much they want to tip, and we're informing them of how they should enter the tip. And then we're going to go from there. Once again, if you were to develop a software that everybody would use, you would need to safeguard against them entering the wrong tip. Ways you can do that is have a drop-down box on the interface so they can pick between 1% and 100%, or stuff like that, because you wouldn't want someone to think if they typed in the wrong thing, be tipping the wrong amount. Common sense should tell them that it's wrong, but if common sense was common, I'm not gonna go from there. But you know what I'm saying. So this is, once again, we're just going to use that at this time to safeguard against someone entering the wrong format of the tip they want to enter. So now we have the subtotal and the tip. Now we're going to calculate the tip amount. So the way we're going to do that is create a variable with the double data type. I'm going to simply name it tip amount equals. Before I go any further, you see right here, tip amount. I didn't do this right here. I'm going to go ahead and change it though. Change the T to a capitalization, and then I've got the A as a capitalized letter. This is called camel case, and what it does, it's a naming convention for your variables that allows you to create variables and have them easily read. And what I mean by that is, and the reason they have to be, you cannot put a space in a variable. If you put a space in a variable, it only sees tip as the variable, and amount is something different. So if you put that space, if you don't have that space in there, it sees the entire variable name. One other thing is, if you have tip amount, it's not as legible as if you had a capitalized. So think about if you had a variable name, if you're doing something complex and you have a variable name that actually has 3 words in it, or 4 words. If you have every beginning letter of each word as a capitalized letter, it makes it a lot easier to read. One thing that makes it more complicated, once again, unless you know this, because I've been programming for a little bit, so it just comes naturally once you've been doing it. You cannot capitalize a variable name. The first letter has to be lowercase. Also, the first letter cannot be a number. So I can do tip amount 1, 2. I can do tip amount 1. I cannot do 1 tip amount. It will not let you, and it will shout at you. And some of you may be wondering, I've got this underlined in red saying it's wrong. It's just because I have not finished the statement. And now I'm going to finish that is by simply doing subtotal times tip. You have to close every statement with a semicolon. If you do not, it's not going to like it. It's going to yell at you. And this is one of those things that having this program NetBeans, the IDE, makes it very helpful. Because back in the day, when you programmed in just a text file, your program might not run. And it could all be because you left off a semicolon. So if you had, let's say you had 100 lines of code, and one of the lines doesn't have a semicolon on it, you could look at it for hours and hours and not find it. And this is very, very helpful. So some people still program in a text file, but I choose to take advantage of the technology that we're given. So, okay, so now we have the tip amount. So this is telling us the percentage that you want to tip based on the subtotal. So now we need to have the total amount. And what we're going to do to calculate that is simply add the subtotal to the tip amount. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to call this total and have that be equal to subtotal plus tip amount. Okay. So now we have done all the calculations. We've asked for all the information we need, and we've done all the calculations. But we do not have it displaying anything to the user. So we have all the information we need stored in variables. Now we need to print it. So we're going to do that right now. So once again, we're going to go to system dot out dot print line, and we're going to, let's actually just go back to the assignment. So you need to display the tip amount and the overall total. So let's just simply tip amount. I'm going to do just a colon, and then we're going to do plus tip amount and do the semicolon. So what this is simply saying is print tip amount colon space, and then plus right here means concatenate. Concatenate is a long word that simply means add to each other or add it to the same string. So this is going to equal tip amount colon space and then whatever the tip amount is. These spaces in between the plus and tip amount do not matter. They're not going to print those spaces. It's only going to print these spaces. This one right here, anything like that. So you'll see how it's going to print when we're done. Then I'm going to do the same thing for total amount. Okay, and I have forgotten to do my quotation. So there we go. So now plus total. Okay, and one thing I'm going to go ahead and add is the subtotal. And simply do subtotal plus total, excuse me, subtotal. And okay. And I did not put the S there. There we go. So now this should be our program. Unless I've forgotten something, this should be everything in the program. So let's just go ahead and run it. And as you've seen before when I ran it, I just press play. You can also come here, right click on that, and run file. So let's see, how much was your bill? That was $10. How much do you want to tip? Let's do 15%. Okay. Your subtotal amount is $10, as you said. The tip amount is $1.50, and your subtotal is $11.50. So that's working. Let's try it again. Let's just make sure. Let's see. Let's say $25. And let's say we want to tip 20%. So 20% of 25 is 5, and 25 plus 5 is 30. One thing I'm seeing right here is it's not showing it's not representing money. So let's just go ahead and add a $sign there. And that should look a lot better. So I've done that. Come up here and save. Run the file. 25. Let's do 15%. There we go. So now it is showing the proper information. $3.75 is 20%, and it adds everything properly, as you see there. There is a way, and I don't know if anybody's noticing this, if you see subtotal, it's in 25.0. The reason it's doing that, even though you type in 25, a float converts everything to a decimal, so it will be 25.0. There is a way that you can convert everything to a decimal and also have 2 decimal places. But we're not going to get into that because it does involve some formatting, and I just don't want to aggravate you any more than I have to with you learning this. So I hope this is very helpful. I'm just going to run through it one more time. If you feel like you know it, you don't have to keep watching the video. I'm just going to walk you through everything we did one more time. So first of all, we needed to ask the user how much their bill was. In order to ask or to receive input in Java, you have to import a scanner. So we did that by import java.util.scanner, semicolon. Then we come here in the main function, scanner input equals new scanner, system in. So this is simply creating a new scanner. This is importing the ability to create a scanner. This code is actually making the new scanner and assigning it the variable input. Now we're asking the user, how much was your bill? We're using the variable subtotal, which is the double data type, and we're making that equal to what is entered into this scanner. And we're doing the same thing. We're asking how much do you want to tip. We told the user how to enter the tip. And we're storing the next input that's entered into the scanner as the tip. Then we're doing our calculations. Tip amount is equal to subtotal times tip. And the total is equal to the subtotal plus the tip amount. And then we just have everything being printed out to the user right here. I'm going to run this one more time just to show you the difference in what I was saying earlier about how the user enters the total. So let's go back to $10, 1.5. Once again, that is right. Actually, I accidentally did the wrong thing, but you see now how it's different. I was thinking 15%, and I typed 1.5 for some reason. I'm not going to try to tell you why I thought of 1.5, but that's what I typed in. And it multiplied 10 times 1.5, and that was basically, that's 150% that I just typed in, based on how we're asking the user to enter it. So basically this is telling them they need to tip $15 for a $10 bill. And that is kind of, I mean, if you're generous and you have enough money to do that, sure. But what I was intending to do is type in 15%, and therefore my bill would only be $11.50 instead of $25. So, and then let's just do this one more thing. So $10 bill, and let me type 15. Now you see that the subtotal amount is $10. The tip amount is apparently $150, and the total amount is $160. See, and that's how you see this. If you don't read this, you would type 15 thinking it's 10%, and then we're telling you to tip $150 for a $10 meal. And you don't need to do that unless you're extremely blessed. So this is very important that you read and that the user understands, so it'll give them the proper information. And this is the last time I say this, and I've said it before, if you are programming software for the real world, you would have to have code in the program to safeguard against this type of information. I hope this makes more sense to you at this point. If you have any trouble, I guess you might not be this far in the video if you're having trouble, but if you have any trouble with downloading the Java Development Kit, the JDK that I have as the link in Moodle, or this NetBeans IDE, please email me, please call me. We need to get that straightened out, and just tell me your situation, and we can work something out. Thank you for your time, and enjoy. If you're reading, or excuse me, watching this before Easter, enjoy your Friday off and your Monday off. And if you're watching this after Easter, I hope you enjoyed those days off. Thank you, and have a great day.